Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 83 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
And I'm Weston Pugh, and today we've got a great show. We are excited. We've got two really unique houses that we think fit today, and we can't wait to share them with you. And in the second half, we're going to talk to you a little bit about how to get your house ready for the market.
That's right.
Important information.
It is, and it's been kind of an interesting last week or so. Last week was our first week back in the studio, and to me, the last week has been like super busy. We've had things really start moving again.
I know, it was like time to put on real jeans and slacks and get out there and go to work. We had a good week last week. It was across the board. There are statistics that our company always provides us, and one of the ones was that they were able to pull all of the data that came from the showing service that agents here in Dallas use, and it says that we were up 1.2% over last year. Year to date in the number of showings, which is a great marker that we need to know about in the economy.
Yeah, just the activity, the consumer activity coming back seems to be really good. People that feel comfortable in their job and feel like they're not at risk, I think, are really stepping out there, and they're taking advantage of the being in the market right now because interest rates once again have fallen.
Yeah.
And we keep saying interest rates are historic lows, and interest rates are at historic lows right now.
They are. They are. And I was talking to one of our clients earlier this morning, and he's looking at Denton County and new home construction, and he said he's been watching this one house, and he's toured it, and is thinking about it's time to make an offer on it. And I said, talked about a little bit about his economics, and it does work out. So be on the lookout, and it is a great time to get out there. Rates are good. Prices are holding.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
Yeah, inventory is really interesting right now because it's we've got 3.3 months of inventory, and with the 3.3 months of inventory, that makes it stepping into a neutral market. Anytime you go 3 months or less of inventory, it becomes a seller's market. Between 3 and 6 months worth of inventory is a neutral market, and then 6 months or more is a buyer's market.
Yep.
So, a couple of the other really interesting things that we got out of Anthony Jackson's
Tuesday report
that is really great information. These were, so the National Association of Realtors Conference is going on right now in Washington, and they're streaming, I think, about 40 of the governance meetings. And, a lot of those are updates with what's going on in the national housing market. And a couple of statistics that I thought were really interesting was that 59% of homes have at least 60% equity in them.
And that we've seen that because when we write offers, we've just seen multiple times people are putting large chunks, if not paying them off.
Yeah, if not paying cash for them, yeah. 42% of homes are mortgage-free. So there's only 58% of the homes out there that actually have a mortgage against them.
Yeah.
And the average equity in a home right now is $177,000.
Right, and I think the thing that makes that such a positive is because when we were looking in 2008 and 2009, we were coming off of an economic era when everything was an interest-only ARM and no doc loans, and because of this, the houses when the economy turned, foreclosures were quite common in different states and in different counties. And this is one of those situations where because the equity is so high or they've been paid off that people can actually sell them as they need to, and therefore they don't deflate the market because they're not selling under fire and under pressure. They're
Right.
able to actually let the market establish a value. And therefore, I think in the long term, we're going to see the real estate market be able to weather this, you know.
Yeah, the really big difference that I see this time is, number one, I am hopeful anyway that this issue is just going to be a temporary issue. Number two is we don't have all the investors in the market that we had
Correct.
before, where people were leveraging their primary home to do cash out refinances or home equity lines of credit, and then going out and buying investment property. And, you know, we don't have that.
That
in
flip.
that flip in the marketplace. And one of the statistics I saw the other day is that in the DFW market, 80% of the people paid their rent on time last month.
That's awesome.
And that's market-wide.
That's huge.
Yeah, it really
80%.
is. Yeah. Price of oil's coming back up, so, you know, that it all affects the real estate market.
And home builders, I think, learned last time, and they don't have 11 months worth of inventory that they need to sell, which they're competing with you, who's trying to sell it. So we have a much healthier real estate market right now.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah, and you know, if you're like a two breadwinner family, and one of you did get affected by this financially, you know, I would say still consider is now a good time to buy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, most people that have filed for unemployment believe that their employment's going to return within the next 3 to 6 months. So maybe there's an opportunity out there for you. Or you know, one of the other segments of the market that I think is very active right now is that move-up buyer.
All day long.
It's you know, taking that equity and moving to your next stage of house, whether that's a bigger home or a nicer home, or it's got features that your current home doesn't have. That's a really good segment to be in. You know, we do so many back-to-back transactions like that. It's kind of become, it's like second nature for us to try to structure all that. So.
Closing tables. It makes for a very interesting set of repairers to negotiate through.
It sure does. So, well, let's talk about our homes.
Yeah, we got a great one. The first one that we're going to take a look at is going to be 4403 West University Boulevard. And this is actually in your neck of the woods.
I was going to say, you are going to have some fantastic neighbors in this house.
It's a great area. This is closer to the Lemon Avenue, and that's close to as you can see right there, the Frontiers of Flight. And this is also where Lincoln just made their new headquarters and dealership right around the corner from this.
Planet.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
But it's
Absolutely.
a great little area. The interesting thing about this is that the access to Lovers gets you some really great dining experiences that you didn't know were there if you're not from this area and local. And commuting, again, on this little spot, it makes life super simple. Zipping over to the Dallas Toll Road is extremely easy, as is using Northwest Highway if you need to get over and turn into 183 to get to the airport. So
Yeah, and I will say, I literally live about, 8 blocks from here, and people think, oh my gosh, you live by Love Field, that noise is going to be horrible, and it's not. I mean, living at where this house is, and living to the side of the runways as you would, you really only get bad noise on certain days. It's when low cloud cover and the planes
Weather
have to
changes.
bank to the west, and you know you do get it occasionally, but for the convenience of living and I don't know any other word for it, the convenience of the being there, that you can't beat it.
you can't. And this one is one of the ones that'll make life a lot easier. This is going to be a duplex, and what's really interesting about the configuration of this duplex is this one is on the corner. And so because of this corner, it actually has this enormous yard that you're going to see right here.
Yeah, now this is just half of the duplex, so
Right.
it's okay. So it's a single family attached or half duplex. So I don't want people thinking we're selling both halves. Those people behind are going to be really unhappy.
This is a great example of what it's like to have a very open floor plan in one of these duplexes. Hardwood floors throughout really kind of create, as you see here, a very clean and cohesive feel to the house, and it's just really open space.
Yep. This was a Perry home that was built in 2007, so it's about 12 years old. Was done really well. You can see the quality, the wood cabinetry, the granite countertops, the big double sink there with the island. This was like, early on design of this floor plan that just people really seem to be drawn to.
Yeah.
Big open living rooms, the shutters that are built into this is just amazing. And this is the sitting area outside the master bedroom.
And so this one also has an upstairs balcony that you can enjoy. And this is another view. They were impeccable about continuing the plantation shutters that are throughout this house. And then this is the large living room, almost a living room. Master bedroom. And as you can see, it does have its own seating area as well. And off to that is they've redone the bathroom and done it really well. The walk-in shower is enormous, so and really good countertop space as well. And it's at that shaving height, so it's probably about 4 to 6 inches higher than what you typically see. And then one of the things that we really loved is how much closet space this one has.
Oh my gosh, it's
every
crazy.
room, every hallway has extra closet space.
And you can see these rooms also have the 9-foot ceilings in them, which makes the rooms feel so much larger. Even the guest rooms on this, and this has a balcony off of that living area that's up in the master bedroom that's just been replaced. This also has really cool outdoor space that you don't find in a lot of those homes over there, because you've got another separate pergola covered deck and that big backyard.
So this is 4403 University. It is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, 2,700 square feet, 450,000, and that brings us right in at 164.44 a square foot.
And if you'd like to see that, please call us. We'll be happy to show it to you. Again, it's right around the corner from my house, so I can meet you over there in just with a moment's notice.
I think one of the things that we weren't able to capture in the images, and I'm not quite sure, we had that actually has a turf grass side yard that is actually fenced and separate from, and is a really great space for there to actually be, if you had pets for running, it's easy cleanup. And then at the back of that, there's a small little storage, and they actually put a little doggy door in the storage, which I thought was really a smart idea, because it doubled as a oversized doghouse.
Yeah, so it's kind of the shelter. So if you had to leave the dogs outside and you were gone for the day and it started raining, they could get in out of the weather.
And they're not going to come in muddy because of the turf grass.
This is exactly right.
These are important notes. Oh, it's so important. So we're going to shift gears, and we are going to go down to Main Street, but we're actually not going to go to Main Street downtown. We're just going to go a little to the east of downtown and to the north, correct?
That's correct. And this is it's 4214 Main Street, and it's really considered part of Old East Dallas. And this section of Old East Dallas is one of the really early colonized sections of town. Like, Dallas was its own city for a long time, and this section started out as a 40-acre tract of land owned by a man named Beeman. Beeman moved there settled there in the 1860s, and then started developing the neighborhood and started selling lots in 1872. And he actually paid the Texas Pacific Railway to come in and bring the rail line through that neighborhood. So the old Texas Pacific Railway runs, within about 4 blocks of this. Now, that is no longer in use, but much of that's been turned into bike and hike paths and things like that. But this is one of those really cool sections of town that I think has charm, character, history, and convenience factor crazily.
And I have driven past this. I live in this area just a little further towards the west from here, but I have driven past this area, and I've always wanted to go inside of these. And so I was really excited and pleasantly surprised when we were able to feature this one. This is one of the ones that I think going forward, I'm always like right now thinking about what are going to be these consumer changes that are going to last. And I think the ability to have a space that's both work, live, and flexible is what we're going to be looking for. And this house is one of them that speaks to me, because it actually is both live and work zone that way. And so you have the ability to change the configuration of the inside of this to create even a storefront, whether it would be a gallery, a fitness studio, whatever boutique or concept that you had, this would work and still allow you to have space that you're going to live in. And so without further ado, let's take a look at some of these great pictures.
Okay, this is really a standalone building. You see the driveway there to the toward the right-hand side of that picture, but this is really kind of a unique condominium in that you have nobody directly beside you, nobody above you, nobody behind you. wide open spaces in this. This is like the true definition of a loft.
It is. And what I love about it is that we don't have sheetrock just covering this. We get the great texture from the bricks. And you can see here that I think we've got 14-foot ceilings, exposed beams, and you have such a shell that you could configure it. They've done a great job of just maximizing the space and putting stuff in unique locations like the bed. It does have a full kitchen, washer and dryer connection, and it all just kind of, even though it's set up like this, it feels extremely, extremely homey. And I can see this ranging from a small business homeowner, a downsizer. If you were somebody that was used to industrial living and were coming in from a major metropolitan area like New York or whatnot, this too could be one of the ones that really speaks to you.
Yeah. A single bathroom in it. It does have a shower, done very, very nicely. Like Weston said, they retained some of the brick exposure in the bathroom, which still gives it that rustic feel, but it's done nicely.
Yeah. And so this is the piece de resistance for me, because this is the outdoor area. That was the other side of it. And then you have a 2-car garage. So you actually have a shop inside of this that you can truly work from. And the outdoor space is just as great as well, because there is a slider gate right there that you could actually back up and unload large if you had items that you were working on. But it just has a great flex indoor space. You had no idea how great this was until you're there.
Yeah, 4214 Main Street. It's a loft style place, 1 bath, 2-car covered parking spot, built in the 50s, 2,700 square feet, and that is priced at $625,000.
Yep, and we want to say thank you so much to Suzanne Altabella for letting us feature her home. Great place.
Yep, and thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be right back. There are lots of ways to keep up with us. Visit and like our Facebook page to watch us live and get updates about future show topics. Also, visit our Instagram account where you can see the latest homes we have for sale. You can also check out our website at updikepugh.com, where you can create customized searches of active and sold homes that you may find of interest. If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, visit homeprice.fyi and you can get a price instantly. Just enter your address and a couple of other pieces of information and we will email you a price. If you are on the go and podcasts are better for you, our second segments are available on iTunes and Spotify. Last of all, you can reach out to us by phone or text at 214-377-2223. And welcome back to our second segment. Today we are going to continue with our series of talking about things to do while staying home.
It is, it's really important. There's a lot of extra time. I feel like 24 hours is a little bit longer than it normally is. And so bringing your house onto the market, this is something that we typically talk about in early spring, but because of the conditions, I feel like spring has just been shifted back about 45 to 60 days. And so we thought this would be a great time to bring it back. And one of the things that we always talk about to our listings is that people get to your house and it starts at the curb. And so we really want to focus on taking the time to look at that front yard, and you can start with the most simple thing, and that could be fertilize and water. Fertilize and water is one of those things that really brings the green up, and right now we're getting lots of rain, so it would be the optimal time to get that fertilizer down.
Absolutely. I think I did mine about a month ago,
Looks
and
great.
it really, within a month, you really begin to see the results of that.
Yep. The other thing too is that laying sod down. Sod is an easy thing to do. We used an outlet company the other day. They delivered it on a Saturday morning within 15 minutes of the window. It was amazing. And 2 hours later, an entire yard was laid down. Very, very simple to do. There's a bunch of different grasses that they had. So depending on what your light factor is on your yard, you can use, and it really makes a huge difference. It is one of those indirect features that clients really kind of gravitate to, especially if there's like 2 homes that they really like and it's just like, which one is it?
Yeah.
Just finishing off on these things makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it really does. And, the shrubbery that now's a perfect time of year to put shrubbery in, because if you put it in the ground a month from now, you're going to begin to see new growth on it.
Yeah. And the other thing too is if you have trees and shrubs that are overgrown and maybe encroaching on windows and whatnot, that might impact the way the house is photographed. do them before so that you can trim those back, because if you trim them like the week that you have a house photographed, you can really have just kind of like rough spots where you don't have what you were saying, that new growth from that you're going to want, just kind of soften some of the edges.
Yeah, and that, that makes such a difference in the consumer being able to choose your home over a different one. It is all those little bitty things. And, it's like last week we talked about painting and the continuity of painting, the entire house. And, that's one of those other things that is, it's an indirect thing that I don't think people can point at to say, oh, that's what I like better about it, but it gives them a better feeling just overall.
Yep. And the other another item of interest that we think goes the distance is actually, and this seems really basic, and you're like, is this really an item? But it is, and it is the cleaning the windows
Inside and out.
inside and out. Isn't it true, Jeff?
It is. It is. It makes such a difference. We do it every year at my house before we have our client appreciation party, and I appreciate it so much because it just changes the way the house feels and the light that comes in and being able to look out. It changes it dramatically.
It does. And if you have pets, these are one of the, we all have pets and we love them to death, but they are the culprits for putting little paws and putting little noses and making it. And I think that today you want to really relay to buyers a cleanliness. And I think that this is just one of those, and I keep saying indirect because they're not going to magically go like, oh my God, I love how clean your windows are. But we're stacking up elements that create a decision that they can say yes to your house, say yes to the house. And this is one of those things that adds that value. Not only is it clean, but it comes across as maybe there's less germs. If they're caring this much about the way that the windows look, the countertops are that much cleaner. And this could be a house that's so much safer for my family versus somebody that walks in and the house is a little clunky, like there's stuff laying out. So this is two of the big cosmetics. And then we just recently have another great one that came up.
Oh, we talked about the seller's disclosure. Excuse me. I'm sorry. It's like,
He was really, Jeff, you were really buying what I was saying. You were like locking that in.
So the other thing we were going to talk about was we've just gotten access to a new product that's called Seller Shield, and it is a way for sellers to fill out their seller's disclosure statement more accurately, do it online, and at the end of that process, be able to electronically sign it and send us a copy of it. And I've sat with many, many sellers at their kitchen table and had them, kind of go back and forth over a 9-page seller's disclosure statement. And it may take them 30 minutes to do the first page, and then by the time they get to the second page, they're like, yes. And it's not always accurate.
No.
So
it's important to be accurate.
It's very important. 80% of the lawsuits that come out of real estate transactions are over improperly disclosed items on condition.
And people are always of the mindset that, they're never going to find out. I guarantee you that your neighbor is going to walk over next door and be like, so how did they handle that water leak you had under the house?
Yeah.
And you're like, hold up.
Yeah.
I don't remember that being on the seller's disclosure. So it is critical. It is critical. And I think, again, one of the elements that makes this such a great tool now that we have is that it decreases sometimes the amount of face time, but it doesn't decrease the quality of experience that we're giving clients.
Yes.
It walks them through and really makes this make sense. Like it will highlight when it looks like this is an element that could be a possible problem later on.
Yeah, there are a lot of places in the disclosure statement where if you answer, yes, this has occurred, or yes, it does have this, it asks you to go on and expound upon what that is. And this process actually, takes you to that where you're able to put that in, where many times consumers will check yes and then not say anything else about it. And then, when that disclosure gets sent to a potential buyer, that question's unanswered. So what other questions are unanswered? And, it really does just kind of lock in the experience. The company that provides this service to us does try to sell you an insurance policy against lawsuits that occur, a year, 2 years, 3 years after. But you do not have to purchase that. This is, it's really, we're more about the quality of the disclosure that it gives us and the liability reduction that it provides for the seller.
Yep, and it goes to both homeowners at one time, and so it can be filled out and signed by both. And the great thing is that it immediately gets sent back to you and I, which allows us to work with it immediately and get that uploaded. So
Yeah.
we love it.
We do. So if you are considering selling your home, number one, call us.
We should have started with
Yeah,
that.
we'll get started with that. Number two, we'll have a much longer conversation than what Weston and I just did about getting your house ready. It is one of the things that we spend a lot of time with our clients on because the things that you do up front do make a difference in what that house will sell for. We had one in East Dallas recently that they did everything that we asked them to do, and they got top dollar for the house, and it was a really great experience from that perspective for them, I think. So,
Yep.
so
Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in for another episode of Sold with Updike Pugh. We've had a great time here. Look forward to seeing any comments that you have and suggestions that you have. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, we'd love to hear from you.
and remember to subscribe, like, and share, and we want to be your realtors for life.